Yeah, I think it hasn't really changed much in terms of day-to-day, just going about our business that way. But I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for the guys and, want to get this thing going in the right direction.
And do you think that showed you guys that Kevin is willing to do whatever it takes, even if he had to give up a chore like that to get you guys rolling?
Yeah, I guess you could say so. I think Coach Stefanski really wants to win. And like you said, he'll do whatever it takes to do that.
Kevin Stefanski just made one of the biggest decisions of his tenure. He handed the play-calling duties over to Tommy Rees. That's not a small move. That's a coach recognizing that something isn't clicking and saying, you know what? I'll do whatever it takes to get this team back on track. And as someone who's been watching this Browns offense grind through inconsistency all season long, that gesture alone speaks volumes.
What does he bring as an offensive mind that you think will be a good spark for this offense?
I think he's eager, he's hungry. He's got a lot of knowledge. I've been a fan even from, back in college and seeing what he's been able to do. But I think he just utilizes players at a high level. And but I think with everyone, it's all coming together. It's never one person. Definitely there could be times of inspiration and help in that way. But it's all of us coming together to help each other out. And Coach is a good leader for that.
Dillon, when a receiver is having a season where he drops an inordinate number of balls, like Jerry Jeudy has, how does that? Do you hesitate to throw to a receiver who's in kind of a slump like that?
No, you continue to go right back at it. We believe in Jerry, believe in all our guys, and we'll continue to attack that. Plays within a game, they happen. You know what I mean? And you got to continue to work through them, but have ultimate belief in Jerry and all our guys.
Dillon, coming off the bye, do you look at it as a fresh start for the offense, you all the way around?
I think mentality-wise, you kind of come off a bye week trying to improve and look at where you could have been better, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and kind of look at both sides of those. But definitely got to improve, and whether it's a fresh start or just a new week, just keeping it 1 week at a time. That's the mentality, and that's all you got.
Prior to the New England game, Tommy Rees said you got to make Dillon more comfortable throwing the ball down the field. And then you threw only 8 passes to receivers in New England. So the question is, are you uncomfortable throwing downfield?
No, I think there's just a mixture of things that have to come together to make that happen. That's myself included. But, like we've talked about before, explosives, they got to happen. There's certain categories within a game that you have to win, and explosives and, being really good on first and second down so that you're in some third and manageables and moving the chain, sustaining drives. So that'll all contribute to that, but no uncomfortability. Like that's something that, we work on and want to continue to emphasize.
So maybe that's what he was talking about, being comfortable with better first and second down.
Yeah, and just emphasizing that and trying to make those happen by just being fundamentally sound.
Now, when Dillon was asked about it, and credit to him for staying cool, he didn't flinch. He said it hasn't really changed much day to day, but he believes it's going to be good for the guys. You could tell he meant it. Sometimes it's not about ripping the playbook apart. It's about bringing in a new voice, a new rhythm. And Tommy Rees, man, he's young, hungry, and deeply connected to the game. He's one of those guys who sees the field like a quarterback because, well, he was one. He understands how to get players comfortable, how to call plays that fit their natural rhythm. And that could be exactly what this offense needs right now. And look, there's no question that Stefanski wants to win. This move isn't about ego. It's about trust. It's about saying, I believe in my staff, and I'm willing to change if it means giving my team a spark. That's leadership. That's what a desperate locker room needs. Now let's talk about Dillon. He's handled this thing like a pro. Coming off the bye week, he talked about taking a hard look at the tape, analyzing what went wrong, from missed reads to bad third down conversions.
Coming off the bye, what was your kind of looking back at the tape and stuff? What was the self-evaluation when you came to the past?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to take in, but good things and things that you can learn from. But there's got to be a change within the process to create a better outcome. And I don't want to stand up here and say the same thing, but it's truth. There's got to be better fundamentals, and I think that's everyone coming together to make that happen. But You know, you look at third downs, you look at those categories, and where you can just sustain drives and help yourself, and then after turnovers, trying to, you know, convert those into points.
The fact that Tommy was recently in the college ranks, you're so young, Shedeur so young. Do you feel like, you know, you can kind of relate to rookie quarterbacks a lot, and he's also a quarterback himself? And do you think that he sort of has that vibe about him to know what some of the concepts are that you'll feel comfortable with?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. It's constant conversation. I think you know, everyone in the QB room's got a good head on their shoulders and knowledge of, you know, what it takes to go do it. And I think not only Tommy but everyone in that room definitely helps out his understanding of that.
What has to happen now? You had the bye, you had a chance to maybe take a little bit of a deep breath, step back. What has to happen though to get this offense rolling now?
Yeah, progress, growth, creating chunk plays, but then also just being efficient, you know, and taking the layups and doing that at a high level. So I think when you do that, fundamentally, you'll get, you know, opportunities, go do what you want to do, and have positive yards. But you know, you got to make the layups, and that's what we got to do.
Dillon, obviously there's the 2 targets for Jerry in the Patriots game, and I think Kevin's kind of even expressed that he knows you guys got to get him going and get him more than that. Just how much of a priority have you guys made that this week in terms of making sure he's part of the game plan?
Yeah, try to continue to emphasize that. You know, that's something we want to do. Jerry's really good. Want to get the ball into players' hands that are really good and let them go do their thing. So just want to emphasize that. And we did it throughout the year, but you know, want to put a point of emphasis for sure.
Do you feel like maybe the Jets are a little bit shaken or reeling by their 2 best defensive players having gotten traded away yesterday? What do you think you're heading into?
No, I think they're still a great team. They got a bunch of great players. That's why you're in this league, and you know, they played really well.
What do you think getting set back this week to do for that receiving core and the offense in general?
Yeah, the more the merrier. But also just said, I think he's a good threat in multiple, you know, ways of our offense. I think in the run and the pass, and I think with anything, Sed's a big part of what we do as well. So having him back will be huge.
And understanding that improvement has to come from everyone, not just him. You can tell he's processing everything like a guy who knows the weight of the job. He mentioned it perfectly. There's got to be change within the process to create a better outcome. That's a mature take. And here I am, trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. And when asked about Jerry Jeudy's drops, I loved his answer. He didn't shy away. He said you keep going right back at him. That's what you do when you believe in your teammates. You don't pull away from them when they struggle. You keep feeding them. You show them trust. That's how confidence comes back. The other big theme, fundamentals. Over and over, Dillon came back to it. First and second downs, staying ahead of the sticks, making the layups, as he put it. He knows that when you win those downs, everything else opens up. The deep shots, the explosives, the creative stuff Tommy Rees wants to bring in. And yeah, he owned it. Those interceptions against New England hurt. But that's part of growth. Every quarterback goes through that stretch where the game humbles you a little. What matters is how you respond. And Dillon gets that. He's not blaming anyone, not panicking. He's learning.
I feel like having Tommy up in the booth or on the sidelines, I'm not sure where he's going to be yet, but does it matter to you either way? Would you rather have him close by to communicate like that? Or?
You know, I think there's great conversation either way, but it's kind of preference of coach, and you know, he'll do what he's got to do.
When there's a change like that, maybe in the middle of the season, is it fair to expect that there will be like significant improvement? Like, you know, Kevin gives that up in terms of the Tom. Is it fair to expect that, like, you know, the offense maybe can take off a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's probably motives behind change, but for the most part, I think, like I said, it's not just one person, it's all of us coming together, and there's a lot of areas that we can all be better, including myself, and want to make that happen. So definitely good that, you know, we got Coach doing that.
Dillon, in your first 4 starts, was most of the communication that you have on the sideline in between possession, is that with Coach Musgrave, or you communicate with Tommy at all during the game?
We do. We'll do it on the phone, communicate with Coach Muss and Coach Stefanski, and then, you know, throughout that sideline with all positions as well.
To
How do you personally handle a game like that Patriots won before the bye, where the offense struggles and you personally throw your first 2 interceptions? How do you process that?
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of the growth. It's something that you're going to look back on and appreciate. But in the moment, you want to play at a certain level, and you try to expedite the process of natural progression, but also there's things that you got to go through to learn and get better from. So things like that will make myself and everyone better, and that's what we look forward to. So,
despite this offensive struggles, veterans like Joel and Wyatt have adamantly been behind you.
Yep.
What have you done personally to kind of make that happen in terms of getting them to follow you despite everything not looking good right now?
Yeah, I think it's the process, it's the work, being prepared. I think that goes to show for vets. That's something I appreciated, even being a vet in college and with young guys coming in prepared and ready to work. So little things like that, but it's also just being yourself and knowing who you are and being confident in that. So that's all I can be, is be myself, create true relationships, and we all have a common goal to go win games. Like, that doesn't get twisted or be a certain type of offense, but yeah, there's got to be growth and got to make that happen.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, what stood out most to me wasn't the scheme talk or the stat talk. It was his mindset. The way he talked about preparation, about being himself, about earning the respect of veterans like Joel and Wyatt through his work ethic, that's leadership. You can tell this locker room still believes in him. Now, whether this new play-calling setup leads to fireworks immediately or not, the foundation's being laid. Tommy Rees brings fresh energy, Stefanski shows humility, and Dillon stays accountable. That's the formula for a turnaround. If the Browns' offense starts clicking in the coming weeks, if we start seeing chunk plays, cleaner drives, and more confidence from Dillon, we'll look back at this moment as the turning point. The week Kevin Stefanski handed over the play sheet and said, "Let's go win." And honestly, I think it might just work.